right, welcome to the second video of lesson 13 and continuing to work on word problems. Here we have a word problem. This word problem is on page 123 in your book, so please write your notes there as you follow along. Okay, page 123 in your book. Julie buys 1 3/4 pounds of apples and 2 5/10 pounds of pears. How many pounds of fruit does she buy? Okay, so first thing we need to think about is what can we draw to represent this problem? And make sure that you draw on page 123 along with me. Okay, so you might be thinking about what you can draw, and you always draw a tape diagram, right? So here's 1 3/4 pounds of apples, and then 2 1/2 pounds of pears. So that's going to be a little bit bigger. All right, I know. Just pretend they're matched up. I know they have trouble getting them to match up. And this is my apples. This is 1 3/4 pounds, right? Pounds, we can also write LB. And 2 5/10 or 2 1/2 pounds of pears. And then the question is asking us how many pounds of fruit does she buy altogether? All right, so do we have a strategy we can use to find 1 3/4 plus 2 5/10? Well, actually we don't, because this is fractions and this is decimals. So we have to rename one of the numbers so that the numbers are in the same form, right? We can't add decimals and fractions. We have to make them both fractions or both decimals. So I want you to rename your decimal for question number 1. I want you to rename your decimal as a fraction. Okay, 1 3/4 fractions, we already have that. Now change this to a fraction. And then for number 2, change this one to a decimal. Okay, see what you can do. Tap into your decimal and fraction understanding. See what you can do for that. All right, that's for number 1 and 2. And then let's see how you did on that. All right. So 2 5/10. Let's write 2 5/10. Now 2 5/10 is a number that we kind of talk about a lot, or at least 5/10, right? 5 is half of 10. This is the same as a half, right? So I could say 1 3/4. Oops, kind of big there. Plus 2 1/2, right? 1/2 is the same as 5/10. All right. If you're not sure, you can multiply both of these by 5. 1 times 5 is 5, and 2 times 5 is 10. All right, now we have to add these together, so we need to make them both as fourths. So 1/2 would be how many fourths? Multiplied by 2 over 2, right? Hopefully this is becoming old hat to you by now. So that would be 2 fourths. Two 2/4 plus 1 3/4, altogether 3 5/4. And then the number on top is too big, right? That's an improper fraction. So it's going to be 1 4, one, right? 4/4 fits in one time, and 1/4. And then we're going to add that to our 3, and then our total would be 4 4/4. 4 1/4, right? That's by the fraction way of doing it. Then we have the decimal way of doing it. 3/4. Remember from our, which one is not the same? 3/4 is the same as 75, right? 75 cents, 75 hundredths. So that would be 1 75 hundredths plus 2 5/10. going to come out to 4 and 25/100. Yeah. Remember, this would be like 50. Okay. Check your work. See if that's what you got. Sorry. Just thinking about what we want to do next there. Let's rename. Let's get this and move this and go to here. And let's clear off that screen. Yeah, there we go. All right. Three-fourths, 5/10. Here's another way if you want to make them both into 20ths, right? I made them into half. 5/10 is the same as 1/2. But if you want to do it this way and make them both into 20ths, then you have 5/20ths. And 5/20ths is the same as 25/100ths. Okay, and see here's 2 and 5/10 and 5/10. Okay, so I just wanted to show that to you in another way, right? Here's our 3/4 becoming 75/100. Multiply them both by 25/25, and that's how you get the hundredths. How do you know to do that? Well, 4 times 25 is 100. Okay, so you're thinking about how you can change this to hundredths, and that's 75/100 is the same as 75/100. Okay. Do you think you would rather rename them as decimals, or would you rather rename them as fractions? Which one would you rather do? That's question number 3 for you. All right. And that's the end of this video, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.